Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another Sunday meal prep. Charlie and I are just now getting started on our prep. Charlie kind of has a little bit of a head start on me. He is doing the fruits and veggies and all of that good stuff right now. I'm going to make up my fruit bowls and probably make my breakfast and stuff first. I'll just kind of show you the finished product. Last week's meal prep video, I did kind of show how I do the bacon and my scrambled eggs and everything. It is not something that I like to record, but I did show at least part of it last week, so you kind of see my process. Here is Mr. Nico to say good morning to you. If you are new here, my name is Charlie's holding the chopper. You want to say, look, he can't do that until I finish my intro because it's super loud. Which, by the way, we did buy a new chopper. You want to show off the new chopper? It's got a bunch of different blades. Oh, see how loud it is? But our other one that I bought from Walmart, what broke on it?
You know, where you push the chopper down, some of the plastic feet had come off and eventually cracked the bottom.
Okay, so yeah, so the plastic part on the bottom had a hole in it. We're going to keep it just in case, because y'all know I'm a hoarder. I can't get rid of anything. But I did order that one off of Amazon. We have not used it yet, but it has a bunch of different size blades, which I think like the next time we do like diced sweet potatoes or diced yellow potatoes.
Slicer too.
Oh, it's a slicer too, Charlie said. It had like 10 blades with it. So it'll slice, it'll dice. Will it do like the zucchini noodles? No. Anyway, some of them look like they would actually do like a zoodle or whatever, but we have that little cheap zoodler anyway, and it works great. But yeah, we're going to get into today's meal prep. Real quick, what we are making for our dinners this week. You're just going to have to wait a minute. Charlie's dying to do the chopper. What we are making for our dinners this week is an air fryer buttermilk chicken breast, herbs. I forget the exact name of it. It is a skinny taste recipe. Of course, I will have that recipe linked down in the description box below. Along with that, we are just going to make baked sweet potatoes. The only thing that we do is cook them in the microwave, and then we're going to have canned green beans. So that will be a very simple meal. I will need the Ninja Foodie down for that if you want to go ahead and pull that down while you're waiting on me. So that will be a very simple meal. And then for the other meal, we're going to do egg roll in a bowl, which I know is one of everybody's favorites. It's like a super low point meal. And then we will have our spring rolls and like our chicken pot stickers along with it, you know, just to keep us full, because it's not overly filling. It's not filling, but anyway, I have the points to spare whenever I eat that because it is such a low point meal. So that is the plan. Oh, and I am planning on making some of Roy's Snickerdoodle Cookies. I cannot say that. From his website. I got the recipe, printed it off the other day, so shout out to Roy. Hopefully they turn out good. Looks pretty simple. It uses a sugar-free cake mix, and then you put in some cinnamon and sugar and other stuff like that. And yeah, so we're going to make some Snickerdoodle cookies this week. But let me get started, and I'll be back here in a minute to kind of show you my fruit bowls prepped, my eggs and stuff prepped, all of that stuff. Then we'll get into the actual meals. Also, if you have not yet subscribed, please click that subscribe button down below and follow me over on Instagram. I will leave my Instagram handle for you here on the screen. And then also I have a really great Facebook group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to that Facebook group. There is a direct link to it down in the description box. If you would like to join, we would love to have you over there. So now I'll let Charlie start chopping the vegetables. He's about to have a heart attack of impatience over here. Okay, see you in a bit. Alrighty guys, here are my fruit bowls, and I only made 6 because I actually have 2 fruit bowls left from last week. One will be for lunch today, and then I will eat one for lunch tomorrow, and then I will have the other 6 for Tuesday through Sunday, I guess, next week. Even though the pineapple's a little bit ripe in the ones that I have left, but I'm going to make do since I'll be home tomorrow. I might end up eating like a turkey burger and sweet potato fries or something today or tomorrow, so we'll see. But anyway, so I have my fruit bowls ready, my yogurt, and for any of those of you that are new here, I eat this as my side with my sandwich. at lunch. So I just take like a turkey sandwich typically and then have the fruit and the dip. This is 0 points for me on my personal points plan. And my sandwich comes out to about 4 points or so, just for the multi-grain roll that I put it on. These are my diced peppers. I'm fixing to use up probably most of those making my breakfast. And then we have the sweet potatoes. They're just washed and ready. I wanted to get my bacon cooked before we put the sweet potatoes in. Those are actually huge sweet potatoes. Like I said, it was either little bitty tiny ones or big ones. So we went with the bigger ones yesterday. That's what Walmart had. And yeah, I have my bacon done. I'm going to get started on my scrambled eggs, and then I'll just show you those as well. Charlie is over here bagging up our leftover chicken. We love this food saver thing. So he just will prep whatever we need to use out of the pack of chicken and then seal up the rest. We put the date on it, and then that way we have some extra in the freezers. Some weeks I don't buy the chicken, especially like if I'm going to make, some weeks I don't buy the chicken, especially like if I'm going to make something like the taco soup or something where I'm going to put it in the crock pot. Then that's whenever I like to use the ones out of the freezer, because, you know, we try to rotate them out and not let them stay in there for too long. So anyway, but we do like to have a little bit of extra stash going. So let me get my eggs made. I hate doing that. That's one of the things I like to get out of the way, and then we will get started making the chicken. The chicken actually has to marinate in the buttermilk, I think, for 20 minutes at room temperature. So I actually have my chicken over here. It is ready. I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the buttermilk and let it marinate while I'm making my eggs and stuff, because that will probably take at least 20 minutes, and then it will be ready to season up and get in the air fryer. All right, real quick on the chicken. So we basically just sliced 3 chicken breasts in half. So these are kind of like chicken cutlets, and the recipe calls for 3 cups of 1% buttermilk, which is what I have here, and it says to either marinate it for 4 hours in the refrigerator or for at least 20 minutes room temperature. So that's what I'm going to do, and it just says to cover it and just let it set. So I'm going to let it set while I cook my eggs, and then we will be back and mix up the rest of it. But here is the recipe from Skinny Taste. Y'all know I love Skinny Taste recipes. Almost every one that I've ever tried of hers is delicious, but it's air fryer herbed buttermilk roast chicken breast. So we will cook that in our Ninja Foodie. Probably have to cook it in 2 to 3 different batches, but hopefully it will turn out nice and crispy. We'll see. Alrighty, so I got my eggs cooked. So I have it for Monday through Friday ready to go. Even though tomorrow is a holiday and I am going to be home, I've already got it cooked, so it will be fine. And then I actually have 11 pieces of bacon, since I will be home tomorrow. That way I can share one with the animals, and I don't have to make them an extra one. And then I will just store my bacon in this Ziploc bag in the refrigerator, just like this. Again, I have 2 pieces of bacon and then my scrambled eggs with the diced peppers and everything for breakfast almost every morning. So been doing that for years, never get sick of it, don't know why, but I love it. I love to bulk my eggs up with the egg whites, even though eggs are 0 points, but to get as much of a quantity as I have here, I would have to use a whole lot of whole eggs, and I don't want to do that. So that's one reason. So for each of these, it's basically 2 eggs, 150 grams of egg whites, a splash of almond milk, salt and pepper, and then I just saute up some diced peppers and scramble it up, and it is delicious. So the eggs for me really are 0 points, and then the bacon I think is 3 points for the 2 slices. And then I also count a point, like for my breakfast with my coffee, for the creamer that I use and the almond milk that I use in my coffee. So my breakfast is typically a 5-point breakfast. But moving on now to our chicken breast. I'm going to get the air fryer heated up and get the seasonings and stuff together so that we can get that going. Alright, I am ready to get started on my air fryer chicken. I am going a little bit off script per usual. I'm making a modification. She used chicken breast like with the skin and stuff on it in her recipe. Obviously I'm using boneless, skinless chicken breast. So I have decided to put a cup of panko breadcrumbs in here. Plus I was a little short on my parsley. 4.5 teaspoons is quite a bit. I just used what I had left in the container. And then the rest of the seasonings that it calls for: garlic powder, onion powder, and the dill. And so what we're going to do is just coat both sides and then cook them in the air fryer. I have preheated the air fryer. She says to cook it for 300, at 300 for 10 minutes and then increase the temperature. I'm not going to do all of that since I'm kind of going a little bit off script. I'm just going to put them in at, I don't know, probably my normal 390, which is kind of what I cook just about everything on. Charlie's going to watch them. We'll cook them for 10 minutes and then we're going to spray like each side. But to me, that looks pretty good. I was afraid without the panko breadcrumbs on there that they would not have enough, I don't know, flavor and consistency. Oh, I forgot to add the salt. Hold one moment. Let me add salt. All right, we are back. So we added in 2.5 teaspoons of kosher salt, and then I went ahead and put some pepper in too, even though it doesn't call for it. I'm glad I remembered that. I was so focused on the other seasonings that I completely forgot about the salt. And again, it didn't call for pepper, but I feel like it's not going to be good without the pepper. So I guess we'll just do 2 at a time. It says these may have to cook for a while, especially on the low temperature that she has. Maybe not as long if we cook it at 390, but I'm going to have Charlie watch it. We'll just start with 10 minutes and go from there. Okay, so we have the chicken going in the air fryer, and we're going to have green beans and baked sweet potatoes with it. So I'm going to do 4 cans of just the Del Monte green beans. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the only thing that I'm going to put in here is literally just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil. I'm really not even going to count it. And some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to do just like a little pinch or 2 of salt. And same thing on the pepper. And then I'm going to just let that cook for several minutes, and then it will be delicious. And then we have the sweet potatoes ready, and Charlie has baked the sweet potatoes. Again, we baked them in the microwave. We're just going to store them in the refrigerator like this. The nights that we eat them, we will just heat them up for 3 minutes, about 3 to 4. These are kind of big potatoes. We'll see. But we do pre-bake them, even though we do them in the microwave, instead of having to do them fresh that night, because it is easier if they're already softened up just to heat them up. We're going to get all of this together, and then I'll show it to you once we get it plated up. Hopefully my chicken turns out nice and crispy. Alrighty guys, we finally have the chicken and the green beans done. I've already showed you the sweet potatoes. We just put those in a bowl and we'll just heat those up separately. I think that the chicken has turned out good. It looks nice and crispy. We ended up cooking it basically for 12 minutes per side, and yeah, we will let you know during the weekly vlog next week how we like this recipe. I don't really know how I'm going to count the buttermilk. I mean, it called for 3 cups of buttermilk, but it literally just soaked in there, and so I kind of feel like that was a little bit of a waste. I'm not sure. We'll see if it's worth it or not, depending on like if chicken has a different flavor, if it's nice and juicy or whatever. But anywho, it is done. We're going to put this away and get started on our egg roll in a bowl. Alrighty, we are getting ready to start on the egg roll in a bowl. The recipe that I use is from Slapdash Mom. This is the only one that I've ever made. It's super simple, it's easy, and it's delicious. So this calls for 1.5 pounds of 99% lean ground turkey. I'm just going to go ahead and use 2 pounds because I don't want to waste any of it. Plus, it's 0 points for me. It calls for 3 cups of cabbage. I'm just going to use both of these bags, and then it calls for 1 medium carrot shredded. I'm just going to use this bag of shredded carrots that I bought. It calls for half a tablespoon of fresh ginger, which if you watch my grocery haul, I did just buy like this little chunk of ginger. Super hard to shred or grate, by the way, so definitely recommend the ones that's already done in the little squeeze tube, but I wasn't sure if I had any, and we just got a little fresh chunk and used it, but making it work. You need some sesame oil, some rice vinegar, either some fresh garlic or the minced garlic, which I know I always use that. Let's see here, sea salt and black pepper to taste. So basically I'm going to brown up the turkey. We're going to add everything else in there and cook it until like the cabbage and everything is softened up. So this is a pretty simple, easy recipe. Again, it is pretty low in points. I think it ends up to only be like a point or 2. You can add sesame seeds if you want to as well. Optional coconut aminos or tamari hoisin sauce. It also calls for green onions. Y'all know we always leave the onions out. On the nights that we eat it, I might add a little bit of soy sauce. But we'll just see what it tastes like. So anyway, I'm going to get ready to throw this together, and then we'll be ready to make our dessert and we'll be done. Okay, so I'm going to use this huge pot. I know y'all have seen me use it before, but it's probably the only thing that I have that is big enough to hold all of this cabbage and carrots and stuff. So I'm just going to spray it a little bit with the olive oil spray. I'm going to put my turkey in and then just season it with some salt and pepper. Cook it until it is no longer pink. Okay, so turkey's in there. We're just going to use a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper as well. Whoops. That was quite a bit. We'll make it work. It'll be fine. So I have my turkey in. I've just added some salt and pepper. And I'm going to get this browned and then we will be back. Okay, so we have our ground turkey browned. It is no longer pink. We are going to go ahead and start adding everything else in. So we need 1/4 cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and put that in first. And we have went down to a medium heat now. And now we're going to add in the cabbage and the garlic. So here's one bag. And the second bag of cabbage. And then our shredded carrots. It calls for 1 whole carrot, but we're just pretty much going to put all of these in there. And then either the garlic powder or minced garlic. I'm going to do, it calls for about 1/2 teaspoon. We'll put 1/2 teaspoon of the minced garlic in there. And then we need 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. So there's 1, 2. And then we need 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. Add that in as well. And we're going to add in our ginger. And I'm going to give this a good stir. Probably season with a little more salt and pepper. I did season the turkey. And yeah, that's pretty much all that there is to this. I'm going to mix it up really well and let it cook down until the cabbage is tender, about 4 or 5 minutes or so, and it'll be done. This is such an easy low point recipe to make. Highly recommend. It's delicious. And again, on the nights that we eat it, we'll probably add a little bit of soy sauce to it. But this is what it's looking like. I'm just going to finish stirring it up good, get all the ground turkey and the carrots and the cabbage mixed up together, and maybe put the lid on for just a few minutes and it'll be done. Alright, here is the egg roll in a bowl. I've already divided it out into our 6 servings. I love to use it, put it in these containers specifically, and then we will each have 2 pot stickers and a spring roll on the nights that we have this. We will make those fresh in the air fryer each night. And then just warm this up in the microwave, and it is a perfect little meal. So got this one done. Now all we need to do is our dessert, which is the Snickerdoodle cookies. I'm going to get everything together and we're going to throw those together hopefully real quick and get them in the oven, and we'll be done for the day. Okay, so we are getting ready to make Roy's Light Cake Mix Snickerdoodle cookies. I didn't realize that the batter has to basically sit in the refrigerator for an hour before rolling it out. So we're going to go ahead and get it together and then come back and roll it out and bake it. But it's basically just a package of sugar-free cake mix. I'm just going to use this classic yellow sugar-free cake mix, and it's going to call for 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and then 3 teaspoons of cinnamon divided, 2 egg yolks, and 1 egg, which I have somewhere. I've already put that in a bowl, so I have the 2 egg yolks in there, and then 1 whole egg, 1/4 cup of pumpkin puree, which I need to get that out, and then a tablespoon of sugar. And he uses real sugar. I don't know if I will or not. I may use monk fruit sugar, but we will see. So we're going to basically mix the dry ingredients and then add in the wet ingredients. Okay, so I put my cake mix in there. I'm going to go ahead and add in my baking soda, which is just 1/2 teaspoon, and so I have a 1/2 teaspoon here. So we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of that. So 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and then we're going to use 2 teaspoons of cinnamon now, and then save the other teaspoon for later. So I'm going to do 4 of these because this is a 1/2 teaspoon, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to whisk this together, and then we're going to add in the egg yolks and the pumpkin. Okay, so I have the cake mix, the cinnamon, and the baking soda whisked together. We are now going to go in with our eggs. This is 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks. And then we need 1/4 cup of the pumpkin puree. And then he says to stir this together with a spoon. It will be sticky, and then we're going to refrigerate it for an hour, and then we will roll it out. Okay, so I have my dough mixed up. I did end up using my hands to kind of get it formed into this nice dough ball. So I'm going to put in the refrigerator for at least an hour, and then we will be back and basically roll them out into little balls and then coat them with cinnamon and sugar and bake them in the oven. So we'll be back in just a minute for y'all, an hour or two for me. All right, we are finally back to finish up making the cookies. This is the tablespoon of cinnamon and sugar, and I did decide to go ahead and just use the real sugar. And I have the dough here. I'm actually just going to weigh it and divide it by 24 so that I can get the 24 cookies, because I think that's usually the easiest way with something like this. So I'm just going to put it on my scale. So it actually weighs 600 grams exactly, so that's nice. So 25 grams for each one. So that's what I'm going to weigh out and roll them into balls, and then we will roll them around in the cinnamon and sugar mixture. He said to line 2 baking sheets with parchment paper. I'm going to see if this one will work because it's kind of a large one, but if I have to make a second one, then I will. And so that's about how big one is, so I'm just going to do that until I have 24 of them. Okay, so I have the 24 cookies measured out. I kind of moved them all over to the end so that I could put some spray on the parchment paper because the cookies are pretty sticky. They may not be as much once you roll them in the cinnamon and sugar. So I'm just going to roll each one in the cinnamon and sugar like that, and then he says if you have it left over, then just to roll them again. So let's get that done, and then we're just going to take a glass and spray the bottom of it so that we can mash them down. But this will make 24 cookies at 2 points for 2, so basically a point per cookie on the blue plan or the Better Balance plan on the iHealthy app if that's what you follow. So I will count them basically as 1 point each. So I do have some cinnamon and sugar left over, so we're going to roll them again. I actually didn't think that I would, but there's a lot more than what you think a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of cinnamon would make. Okay, so now you're supposed to get a glass. We're going to spray the bottom of it with a cooking spray so that it doesn't stick. For anybody wondering, I'm going to use a Doctor Who glass. So it's not a huge bottom. Now Roy says that he mashes it pretty much about as flat as the bottom of the glass. So that's what I will do. Hopefully you're not cringing, Roy, because I'm sure these are not going to turn out as good as what you make them, but we are giving it a go. Now, I actually still have a little bit of cinnamon and sugar left, and I think I'm just going to sprinkle that on top of them before I put them in the oven, just to give them that extra little sweetness. Okay, there we go. We're just going to sprinkle this extra little bit on top. And then they're going in the oven. I have it preheated at 325, and it says to cook for 12 to 15 minutes. So my oven cooks a little hot, so I might try it for like 10 or 11. We'll see. I don't want to overcook them. Okay, there we go. In the oven, they're going for just a few minutes. I'll show you when I get them out. Alrighty, here are the cookies fresh out of the oven. They are definitely hot. They're still a little soft, but I think that they are done. Once they cool down, I did go ahead and cook them for 12 minutes. So hopefully they turned out perfect. Hopefully you're happy with them, Roy. I know they're probably a lot closer together than what you would do, but I just wanted to use one cookie sheet. So anyway, excited to try these and all of my other meals this week. I hope that you enjoyed today's meal prep. See you in the next one. Love y'all.